Have you been experiencing internal financial struggles triggered by economic concerns? Are you feeling capped at your current income level and can't seem to realize your financial potential? Energy healer Gene Border has created an emotional freedom technique, or EFT, tapping protocol to help calm the inner voice that keeps you stressed. Claim your free copy at geneborder.com/vow and say goodbye to those financial blockages. Welcome to another episode of the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey podcast, Energy Work to Better Your Business, hosted by energy healer Gene Border. It's not just about dreaming, it's about making those dreams a practical reality. Subscribe to us via your favorite network by visiting our website at www.focusedpracticaldreamer.com. Now, get ready. Your journey to success starts here.
Hello, everyone. It's your host, Gene Border, with another episode of the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey podcast, where we talk everything business with a focus on energy, mindset, and psychology, and how to use those to better your business. I have a special guest with me here today from Mexico. Amanda Steadman is here. Hi, Amanda.
Hey, Jean. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Before we have our conversation, I want to remind the listeners that there is a free resource for you down below in the show notes, geneborder.com/vow, V-O-W, if you're just listening and not watching. If you're having financial stress in your world, decisions that you need to make, fear about your current situation, there's a tapping protocol below. Just do a few rounds of tapping, EFT tapping, whatever you happen to call that, emotional freedom technique. It's a very simple process. I'm doing it right now to show you what it looks like, but all the instructions are in the PDF. Just download the PDF. It's all free. Go through a few rounds of tapping that are all spelled out for you right there. And then you can make your decisions from a place of calm rather than a place of fear or tension or stress. Okay? geneborder.com/vow. And now on to Amanda Steadman. Hi, Amanda. So tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name is Amanda Steadman. You can tell from the accent that I'm actually British, but I've ended up in Mexico, and I have 2 young children. Well, I say young, they're teens now. And I married a lovely Frenchman from Paris, and he kind of moved us out to the Caribbean, and we kind of got stuck here. We came for a short period of time and then ended up being here quite a long period of time. And as it happens, obviously I was already doing coaching and business, and where we are living here, there is a lot of those kind of people. So healers, digital nomads, people that are online. So I think I've finally found the right place at the right time, Jean.
Cool. Yeah, and a lot of my listeners are into a lot of the things that you just mentioned, the whole digital world and the holistic world, because that's my current reality. I do a lot of that kind of stuff. So talk to us about how you started your business, why you started it, and how you got from that point to where you are now.
Well, most of the story started about 31 years ago. I lost my mum to cancer when I was 20, and she was my best coach. Didn't realize what that term was at the time. And it was a huge, obviously, loss for me. And I felt very lost for quite a while. I did some traveling, and then somebody handed me the Louise L. Hay book, Love Yourself, Heal Your Life. And then the pieces started to fall into place. Oh my gosh, this is what my mum was going through. So from then, when I came back from traveling, I decided to figure out how can I help people not go down that same route. She was talking to a counselor, and they kind of said, well, I hope you enjoy the time you have left, Mrs. Steadman, just after she'd lost her sister to ovarian cancer and her mum died of ovarian cancer. So I think in her mind, she was like, I'm next. So it just shows the power of our thoughts. And I could talk about epigenetics all day as well, where our environment creates the gene. So I started to think, how can we reverse engineer that? So I started to go down the Reiki route, neurolinguistic programming, hypnotherapy. So I've always had that in my toolkit. But deep in my heart, I'm also an entrepreneur. So when I did corporate for about 7 years, and I'm not very good at taking orders or working for people that don't appreciate other people. So I did last very long in corporate, decided to go into my own business, about 20 years ago now. And so first of all, I did a consultancy with my husband, and then I decided to do, well, really it found me. Clients started to come to me and say, look, I feel blocked, Amanda. I'm not making the sales calls, or something's going on in my relationship. There's kind of blocks. So what we started to do is started to focus on where are the blocks coming from. And so the people I was working with, generally, a lot of them have, it's coming from childhood. So whether it's the mother or the father, comes back round to not being good enough. And I know that we all know that consciously now, but being able to get rid of it and getting it out of your system, out of you spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally, takes quite a lot. So I started to focus on that area. And then other people that are in my field that are healers and wellness practitioners, and also heart-centered female entrepreneurs, started to say, well, how are you doing business? You know, you have all these different skill sets. How do you blend business and the spirituality together? And I said, I'm just stepping into being more of who I am. Before, I was scared. I felt like I was hiding. Deep down, I think I was still trying to get the approval of my father. And so I just stepped out of that and went, you know what? I'm just going to be me. And I think age helps a little bit, because I am over 20 now. So when you get a little bit more mature, then you start to realize that, you know, it doesn't really matter what other people think. And I still meet 30, 40, 50-year-old women that still need that permission slip from someone to say, you know what, you can do business and you can charge $300 for that. You're worth it. What are the results that you're bringing to people? And you're worth it. And so once we get over those hurdles of being perfectionism comes up a lot for my clients, and procrastination. Once we get through that, and we just rejig the energy and their mind to say it's okay to just learn. It's okay to just get out there and try. You're an entrepreneur as well, Jean. And when we go out there, we try different things and we don't always succeed. Part of being an entrepreneur is learning to fail and get back up again, just like we were when we were babies. No one told a child stop trying to walk. And I think when we get older as adults, we feel that we have to be perfect, everything has to be right. So many of my clients are holding back on launching their memberships, they're holding back on making the sales calls, because they just don't want to fail. And also the fear of rejection comes up a lot. And so we have to go back in time. I know you know this, Jean. We have to go back in time in our wonderful computer, and we have these little apps and memories and videos that say you're not worthy. Your mum might have said, oh, you can't make cakes or something when you were 5. And it could be the tiniest of things. But then your brain interprets that as, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I'm not clever enough. Oh, I'm not going to succeed. Oh, I should marry below my station. Lots of different things that permeate all different parts of our lives. And we talked just before we started the podcast that it does permeate all different parts of our lives. So we might think we're having a relationship issue with our close one, but then when we're going into our coaching business, we're having very similar issues with clients as well. I do feel that I'm going to use the word universe so I don't offend anyone, keep sending us lessons until we get the message. So whether it's in your business, whether it's in your relationship, whether it's with money, when you start to value yourself, things just start to change. And I know for many years I did things for free because you just love to do what you do. And I know many healers out there and wellness practitioners and heart centers coaches do the same. But this period of time now, we are so needed in terms of the mental health state that's out there and the world environment. There's a lot of fear out there. So heart-centered entrepreneurs like myself and Jean and her network of contacts, we're all here to help you stay out of that. Don't be watching the news. Don't stay in that negative vibration. You want to focus on who you're here to serve. And when you're making business decisions, for me, I find it very useful to just, I meditate a lot, and I know that meditation's become mainstream now, but it's so important, I think, for business decisions. And I use it all the time. I'll literally just stop what I'm doing, especially if I feel the stress rising into my heart space. Like this morning, I had a lot of decisions to make this morning. So I went out, stood on the grass for a good half an hour. And that was right after I'd just done a 45-minute meditation. And I just feel so much more calmer today. And the answers are starting to come. And I'm not so worried about the outcome because I know that it's going to be okay. So making those decisions when we're at the level of the problem, we just get confused and we keep going around in circles. And so take that time to just get away from the computer, put the phone down, go and stand in nature. If you're in your city, go and stand by a plant in your house, or at least look at the sky, see if you can find a couple of birds and just de-gauge, just unplug just for a few minutes and just say, hey, I've got this business decision. What is the best path for me? And then wait for that first answer to come back. Now, if it's super negative, that's probably not your higher self, and that your conscious brain is still giving you false evidence. When it comes back and it's a solution and it's positive, 9 times out of 10, that is your higher self communicating with you and trying to get you a message to move you forward in your business. The other clue is your emotions. So in terms of your emotions, for me, I feel it in my stomach. I don't know about you. If you just want to tune into where you feel feelings in your body, for me, if I've made a decision and my subconscious or my intuition doesn't agree with it, I have a sinking feeling in my tummy. For all of you, it'll be different. So just take 1 minute now, just take 10 seconds now, close your eyes, and just think about a business decision that you have to make right now. Take a nice big deep breath in, and just ask that question now. Ask that question. And what's the first answer that comes back? What's the first answer that comes back? And whatever that is, if it's negative, just push that to one side unless it's constructive. If it's positive, then write it down. And just be aware, what are you feeling in your body at that time? I usually get this, like, if it's a yes, a hell yes, I get this like tickly feeling at the top of my stomach. So that's just something that I use with clients and also with myself. Some of you may know that already, but maybe you're not doing it. So it's a reminder. The other thing that I've found that's been really useful for clients in terms of bringing those energy things into the business is when you have to make those sales calls, or when you're putting something out into the world. When I have a new program, I just run a summit, I always take time to just connect. I just imagine my heart, and I imagine lots of golden strings going out, and I think I'm here to serve those people that are out there need me. There's a message, there might be one nugget that they get from the summit, or they connect with somebody on the summit. I'm providing a space, a safe space for female entrepreneurs and wellness practitioners to connect with other people and to move their business forward. So every morning before I did the summit, I would just sit still and I'd put out the intention that everybody gets what they need from the summit. And I would see just light going out to the summit. And most of it was hosted in LinkedIn. So I was sending it to LinkedIn, a little bit in Facebook and to StreamYard. And again, having that intention, everybody gets what they need from the summit. So you can apply that to your business as well. If you're just launching a new product, make sure that you're sending energy out to it before it goes out. Many of us get very nervous when we're launching things, and we have very high expectations, and there's no problem with having good intentions, but sometimes we have to separate from the attachment to that end result. So you just got to trust that your energy and your heart and your product is going to give them the best results. And then you send it out there with that energy and you wait for the results. The other thing in the real world is you also have to follow up. You can't just put it out there. Follow up is really, really important. And the other thing that all of us are going to be doing, especially moving into next year, is a lot more video. People are getting very fussy about who they connect with, who they buy from, and the online space is getting busier and busier. I know Jean knows this as well, and I'm sure you in the audience also know it. So my recommendation is there's a lot of AI stuff that's coming, people, and I have some reservations. I'm also using it on some in some ways, but it does scare me in others. So I think our best foot forward is to keep that realness, keep that humanness in our touch points with our clients. I know it's more work to record a video. I know it's more work to do a live or to be out there. And I know some of you in the audience are going, but I don't want to be on camera, Amanda. And that's okay. Use your voice, okay? But I just think a lot of people are going to be very, I don't know, wary of AI generated training courses. Somebody approached me to copy me and do me in 25 languages, and part of me was going, great, I can reach 25 countries. But when I started to think about that digital me, I just wasn't comfortable with it yet, and I could feel in my body that it didn't feel in alignment. So even though it would make me a lot of money, there's a potential to make a lot of money, which is great. We all want abundance, right? It just did not feel right. So we as humans we can feel, we can connect, we can look right in your eyes, we can be really present with you. And we've got to keep thinking, how can we stay one physical step ahead of AI? Because I think the next couple of years we're going to be tested.
And it's very interesting that you said that, because I'm 98.5% sure that I know exactly what you're talking about. And I had the same response. Yes, you can translate me into those languages, but you're not going to get the intent. You're not going to get the nuance. They're going to translate words, and that's not me. And so I chose not to. I know so many people who jumped right on that, right? Because it sounds really cool and it looks really cool. But for me, the message is not there.
Yeah. And I think there's some tools out there that we can use, and I'm happy to, I'm still using things like Claude and a lot of the basic AIs, which I know are still copying my voice, because I can put stuff in now and they already know my voice. So they're already getting to know who I am. But I don't want them to know everything. I don't want them to be able to read my mind, which apparently that's also in the works or even happening right now. So I think keeping our humanness and our connection to the divine is super important in business and in life as we go forward, because we're going to be so distracted by even more information that's going to come out of us. If you think of all the content that's being generated by AI now, and there's a lot of it, we've got to again stand out by being original, by being authentic, and letting those potential people that we can help feel our energy and know that we mean what we say, that we're coming from a place of love, and it's not just about the money. Yes, we've got to have an energetic exchange, because we all need to have money in this 3D space, but it needs to come from that place of integrity and groundedness in your business and in your personal life. So, I mean, it was a challenge for me, because I'm just going back into LinkedIn now recently, and LinkedIn was very kind of stiff and corporate. But going back in there now, there are so many more of people like us, Jean.
Yeah.
There's so many coaches, wellness professionals, heart-centered entrepreneurs that are all wondering the same thing. Can I be woo-woo on here? And I think the answer is yes, we can. There's a lot more of us on there now that want to connect. And I found with the summit that we did, we pulled in a lot of those people, which was great. So I'd like to challenge some of you that are watching this episode now to think about how else you can be visible. You came here for a reason. You've created your business for a reason. You have a message. You have a service that really helps people that you believe in. So how else can you be visible? How else can you get your authenticity out there so they can see you? Summits is a great one. And Jean has got a great platform here. I haven't launched mine yet. It's on my list of things to do, Jean, underneath everything else. It's coming.
Right time.
It's coming. I just feel I'm not ready yet. I love interviewing people just like you and getting people's message out there. I know it's coming, but it doesn't feel right now. But it could be right for you. And if you're not going to launch a full podcast, then maybe you can do a mini series. You can just interview 10 of your clients and get them and stream them through different things. There's a software called StreamYard. And I think the basic version is free, and you can stream to one other place. And for $25, I think you can stream to 3. You can be creating content by interviewing your clients and getting them exposure out there. And you can do that really easily. And the interviews can maybe be 20 minutes. So within like a day, if you just schedule all of those interviews, you can have a visibility series up right away, and you're giving clients a lift up and leverage. You're making yourself look good, and you're making your clients look good. And that you can do. You can literally set up in a week. So I'm challenging you at the end of this episode to write one thing down. How am I going to be more visible in the next month, Amanda? So that's one idea. And again, just going on to StreamYard or LinkedIn Live. LinkedIn Live is becoming really popular now. I'm going to be doing a lot more on there. So those are 2 visibility things straight away. And if you like getting your message out and you're confident of being on camera, be a podcast guest. Get out there and start going into those Facebook groups where you can be a podcast guest. And again, the visibility is there, so your people can find you. Energetically, I have to be honest, I'm doing visibility now because I'm expanding outside of Mexico, but I've been here 8 years and I've built my hypnotherapy, my holistic hypnotherapy and healing practice on word of mouth, literally word of mouth. Yeah. And we had this discussion before, didn't we, Jean, on how we built our business. Yeah. And literally that's what I did. I think I did some events. I launched 2 books. I've done some events which are around meditation, also something around the goddess energy and bringing goddess energy into your business. And those were all great, but I never put up a sign saying I'm a hypnotherapist. So I've built a very successful practice just on giving people results, asking for referrals, and literally people referring me. But now I want to go a bit further out because people want business coaching, and all my clients for business coaching pretty much are outside Mexico. So for that, I need to go to LinkedIn. Word of mouth is happening, but people just need like more touch points. I think I was on a training yesterday, and originally, I think 5 years ago, it was 7 touch points, Jean. Then it went to like 15 touch points. And apparently, this seems a bit overkill for me, but apparently we have to have 24 touch points with a client now before they know, love, and trust us. I think it's less than that. If you're doing videos and you've got a workshop or a 3-day event where people are getting to know you and you're providing all that value, whether it's free or for $97 as a VIP, I think people know, love, and trust you faster because they can see what you're adding in terms of value and they can see who you are as a person. So I think, again, visibility, being face-to-face with them is one of the best ways to go if you feel confident enough to do it. And if you don't feel confident, just start somewhere. Start doing videos on your own YouTube channel or your own Facebook, wherever you feel comfortable. As I said, I'm actually over 50. So originally I didn't really want to get on screen. I'm like, oh, I'm over 50. My clients are 35. They're all on Instagram being perfect. And then I just got over myself and went, you know what? It's not about me. It's about them. So just get on with it, get the message out there, and provide value. And when you do that and you keep being consistent and showing up, then people come to you, they find you, or people forward them to you. I just got another referral yesterday from somebody else. So that's kind of how I've got to be where I am, just trusting that I'm in the right place at the right time, always over delivering, giving value, being who I am, not giving a shit about what anybody else thinks has been a really big part of that. Getting over imposter syndrome. Yeah.
That's really hard though.
But yes, my clients it is.
You create an identity throughout your life and then you start this business and your identity has to mesh into the business and the marketing and the visibility and the being heard. And maybe that wasn't your identity. Maybe your identity was to be behind the scenes player, right? Yeah. Or just provide your expertise when it was requested. And now you have to be the leader, right? You have to be the one saying, oh, I am going to figure out how to do a Facebook Live. I am going to force myself in a lot of situations to be on camera for the very first time ever. And that is so scary, right? Even though maybe for work, you're on camera all the time, doing trainings for remote locations or whatever. But when it's just you and all eyes are on you and not the old company that you work for, it's different. Your identity is different and it has to grow and you have to become comfortable with that.
And it's a process, Jean, isn't it? I know you've done your own work and I've done my own work. I had a lot of visibility issues because, my family don't really understand what I do. What I do is very different.
In the holistic world, I think a lot of families don't understand what the person does. My family is very much, you do you, but they don't really get it. They're not involved. They don't really want to learn it. None of that stuff, right? But they care about me. So whatever makes me happy, I'll go do your thing. But not everybody even has that much support, right? Some families are totally against all this. If your doctor didn't say it, then it can't be true. Well, doctors aren't there to heal you. Doctors are there to treat your symptoms, right? So we're looking at something totally different than a doctor is looking at. We want your body to be comfortable and balanced and remember how to heal itself rather than just giving away all your power to somebody else to heal you. Yes, if you've got pneumonia, go to the doctor. If you cut your arm almost off, go to the doctor. I mean, use common sense, right? But if your body's just out of balance, a pill is not going to fix that most likely.
Yeah.
You don't have a Xanax deficiency, right? That's just a way to treat a symptom that you've told the doctor you've got. And so they're going to try different things until you get relief from that symptom. But it's a process, and having a support system can make or break you in business when you're just starting out, because you feel so alone and you feel like you're the pioneer and there's so many things to learn, and you learn this and now I've got to learn this, now I've got to learn this, now I've got to learn this, now I've got to learn this. So having a support system is crucial, really. So finding peers that can help you out, whatever, right?
Yeah, well, I had literally clients coming to me and saying, I need to be in a group. I need to be in a mastermind. So I formed a goddess mastermind. And that's really about bringing that goddess energy through, that very strong feminine energy, but blending it with business. Because again, the hurdles kept coming up. And talking about medication, one of my clients who's a fabulous esthetician, she was on sleeping tablets, antidepressants, and a couple other things. I have quite a few clients. She's actually Mexican, but a lot of my American clients come with a lot of that as well. And she said to me 3 weeks ago, I'm off everything. She said, the work that you've done with me, I'm off all the medication. And she's not the first. A lot of people come to me, and once we just get rid of it's clearing the past, you've got those files, and some of them, unfortunately they did have I'm just going to use the word abuse, I can't think of a better word, from family. And so going to sleep was a dangerous time. So what I had to do is go in and say, it's safe to sleep. You just have to rewrite all the programs. So it's safe to sleep. It's safe to be happy. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be fine. You deserve to have people love you. You deserve love. And once you just take out the obsolete files and put in those new apps, everything just runs so better. And energetically, what they don't realize is all of those negative events it takes a lot of energy to repress and to hold on to those negative events. And when you just change the neural pathways and transmute it, all that energy is freed up to go into developing the relationship, loving the self, and raising the vibration. I think it's been proved in physics now and science that our body vibrates at a particular level. And when you go into, I know the Heart Math Institute talk a lot about this, when you're really putting all your emphasis into your heart and expanding that heart energy and then connecting it up to your pineal gland, all kinds of magical things happen. And you have people like Joe Dispenza, again, that's proving that when you love your body, when you have that connection to divine source, God, you have that every day and you tune into it, which gives you the feeling of connectedness, of power, of peace, of love and stability. When you go into your day with all of that in place, it's a very different way of living. You're not waking up and going straight to the phone, panicking, stress. That's not the way to wake up. You want to wake up, breathe, stand on the grass, or do your meditation first, then stand on the grass and come from that space where you are connected to something that's bigger than you. And so you're not alone. You do have that divine support. And that starts to filter in every other area of your business. But this mind, we're only using 10% of it. And we still don't understand all those energetic links between mind and body. But for all the people and wellness practitioners out there, EFT coaches, even heart-centered entrepreneurs, you've all gone through your own journey where you've gone through some pain, and now you're helping other people get out of that pain. For me, it was losing my mum and making sure that self-esteem, which can create disease, which did create disease and is still creating disease, that self-esteem has to go up. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you're an infinite being. You have to know that you're a beautiful soul. You have to know that you have gifts. Even if you can't find them right now, they are there. And your job is to come here to be happy, to use those gifts, and when the opportunity arises, to serve. And that's it. We didn't come here to buy big houses and have big cars and accumulate material wealth. That's not really why we came here. It helps. And on the philanthropic side, that's great. But it's not the main focus, because you can't take it with you, people. You can't. But you can take your energy with you, and you can take all the good things that you've done while you've been down here. So I think this is an opportunity now, and I think you felt this as well, Jean. Especially now, there seems to be a really big shift. Time is moving up, and we're all feeling that I'm going to say gentle pressure to really expand, to get to more people, to serve more people. And I know you have different hats as well. We don't just have to be a healer or a business mentor. We can be an aligned business mentor, a holistic hypnotherapist, a healer. You can be all these different gifts together. I've had a few clients recently where they've come from corporate and they only think they can be one thing. I can only be an entrepreneur and I have to just be a health consultant, or I have to be just in supplements, and you don't have to just be in one thing. Yes, you have a thread going through health, but you don't have to be in one box. You can take all the skills you have and
I'm going to say
more.
something really controversial because it goes against so many of the big gurus out there. You have to niche down. 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 Well, do you know how boring that can be? You know, if all I did, my business changes all the time. My focus changes all the time. I started working with people with migraines because that was my energy journey. I had migraines from the time I was teeny tiny up until, decades and decades later after, oh, you're going to outgrow it. You're going to outgrow it. All the pills, all the shots, all that stuff. I found the right energy modality. And one day I just realized they were gone. I wasn't missing work. I wasn't having to go into a dark room. I wasn't throwing up. I wasn't giving myself shots. And so that's how that was the main focus of my healing business when I started. But that's not what I am now. I don't currently have any active clients that have migraine pain because it's not there anymore, right? But those people refer other people to me for other results. And so my focus shifts over time. But if I stuck with that one niche, number one, I have a low threshold of boredom. That's how I explain it, right? I don't have ADHD or anything like that. I can focus really well, but I have a low boredom threshold and I don't want to spend my life doing that. So right now I have like 3 different main focuses in my business. And that's just because that's the way the referrals took my business, because I'm 95% referral. I mean, that's how my business grew. Someone liked working with me. And so they told someone, and but the 3 arms of my business seem totally unrelated. Chronic illnesses, stage 4 cancer, whatever it is, right? Colon cancer, brain tumors, whatever. Another one is real estate investors. Now that sounds totally weird, right? I'm dealing with, people with serious health issues. And then I'm working with real estate investors who want to flip their properties faster. How does that relate? It's all energy though, right? It really is.
Exactly.
I use the same techniques, but the whole boredom thing, I have a lot of different certifications in the energy world because I'll get interested in something and I will see the use for it and the way I can utilize it in different ways. And so I'll just go ahead and get certified in it. Or I'll find an interest in this and I'll get what I need out of it. And I won't get a certification in that one, right?
Yeah.
But our whole one size fits all, that you must have a niche and you must stick to it, and you must talk. And no. You figure out, I want to be this type of person and I will direct a message. Yes, I will target some of my marketing towards the person that has health issues, that they are working with the medical professional, right? They're doing all that stuff and I don't get in the middle of that. This is just something added on, right?
Yeah.
And they see results because I'm not working on the symptom. I'm working on what the heck is that condition in your body, that it's okay for those cells to grow. We all have those kind of cells in our body. It's just some get activated. This person's got activated. What created the conditions for those cells to go out of control in that person, in that place, right?
Yep.
So it's very interesting that you must do this and you must not do anything. Language is very powerful.
It is.
If somebody throws an absolute at me, I'm like, there's an issue there. Yeah. Always, never. Those are 2 triggers for me. If I must always do this, then your message is off. And if I must never do that, well, then your message is off.
Yeah.
Because it's weird.
Well, just like I said at the beginning, you've got to really tune into who you are. And it does take people some time to figure that out. You know, most of my clients are kind of over 35 to maybe 55. And some of them are just, you know, starting that healing journey now. I actually started channeling about 5 years ago. I was working with a hypnotherapy client and it just started to come through. A particular frequency comes through my voice and it heals people at a subatomic level. I can't explain it. I couldn't explain to you exactly how it works. It was a gift that was given to me right before COVID, obviously. And since then, the first couple of years, I was very shy about it because I was already over here, you know, and that made me even more over here.
What can I say? We're just weird. You know, the whole woo-woo thing. We're just weird.
I know. And I just thought, this has been given to me for a reason. And when I meditate, it was just like, Amanda, you need to go bigger. You know, Mexico's great, but you have a gift and you need to go bigger. So I got less and less shy. And I've been out there for the last 3 years, really using it more publicly. And it works. We have the framework of the hypnotherapy, which guides some of it. And then in between, those frequencies just come through. And again, it's just healed people at a much deeper level than I ever could have envisaged just with the mental side. It's physically changing the body. People come with pain and they go without pain. And it's just been amazing. And as I get the results and the results have got better and better and more specific, then my confidence grew because I can say, well, it's going to be this much because I know that the person is going to get what they need. And that's really reassuring to me as a healer. Because, you know, sometimes you hear anything, oh, did it work? Did it not work? I know it works now because you can see the shift before they leave. And I love the one-to-one work. I know the one-to-one work is more time consuming, but I love seeing that targeted laser approach where they come in, they go out a different person, they go out in a completely different frequency. And it shows to me again the power of frequency. And I believe it's starting to become more mainstream. That word frequency and energy and energetic shifts are going to be even more prevalent as we go forward into next year. We're becoming more and more mainstream and there's many more of us. So people can't ignore us like they used to. We are there and we're making a huge shift. Every person that we help, we're making a huge shift. And that's why I've been pushed towards the business mentoring, because every healer, heart-centered entrepreneur, a wellness practitioner I help, they're going to go and help their clients. So again, my reach is exponential.
And I want to mention two things. Number one, as healers, we're using our skills to help conditions be right in your body, but you are doing the work. Your body is doing its own healing. We are just there to provide some skills that we've picked up and some gifts that we happen to have and that we've allowed to grow. So you're doing the work. We're not doing it. You have to be open to it and you have to be ready for it.
Allow it.
Mm-hmm. So that's a big thing. Number two, you keep talking about frequencies. Music has such power and music is all frequency. So if you compare what we do, the frequency changes. Think of how music impacts your body. How you listen to classical music, you feel one way. Maybe you like that sound, maybe you don't like that sound. Maybe you like blues. Maybe that brings you joy, or maybe that relaxes you. Me, I don't like discords. I don't like the dissonant sounds of jazz. To me, jazz is a bunch of people playing a bunch of different stuff and hoping it sounds okay, right? So that doesn't bring me joy. Harmonies bring me joy. I love complex harmonies, the shifts. I'm a singer, I play the piano, that kind of stuff. So that's what juices me, but it's all frequency. My piano is tuned to something they call A440. That's a frequency, and musicians understand that. But our bodies have frequencies. Emotions have frequencies, right? And every body has its own specific, unique frequency. And when we take away the discord stuff, we allow your body to work at its own frequency. And now it remembers how to heal, and it remembers how to be happy, and it remembers what brings you joy. I love music. So the whole frequency talk, if you want to relate it to how music works, there you go.
Perfect analogy. It's perfect. It's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just, it's coming in a different form now that we weren't really aware of before. And the other thing is, like you've mentioned a couple of times, is, we can be our own healers. We're really guides. We have all this infinite intelligence inside of us. And I have friends that I've encouraged to meditate, and they had life-threatening diseases, and they are reversing those effects of life-threatening disease by just meditating. So the power of meditation is absolutely huge. And again, being much more popular now. It's been great to see the shift, because when I started all this work 26 years ago, it was all very woo-woo. It was out there, new age. And now it's in LinkedIn. Now, there are wellness managers in companies, which is really encouraging. I left corporate a long time ago because I didn't want to be in a box. I couldn't be boxed in. And I think corporate is slowly changing as well. I mean, to have wellness managers in a company is fantastic. I need to target some to go back into corporate and make the waves there. I've been resisting corporate for a long time. I really wanted to do B2C, but because of the business coaching now, I'm going much more B2B. So we'll see how that pans out. But I'm just following the signs, Jean. And obviously we're in a similar network. I've just been following the signs, connecting with people who resonate, who replies, who doesn't. Whoever I'm supposed to connect with, I will connect with. And I just have that belief for any networking thing, whether it's physical, whether it's online, I will resonate at a particular level. Because at the end of the day, it's about the people I serve. It's not about me. It's about them.
I want to go back to something when you were talking about people with serious health issues. Language is so powerful. So if that happens to be you, I would ask that you begin to pay attention to words that you use. Specifically the words I am. You use them multiple times during the day. I'm always sick. There's 2 triggers right there for me, right? I am. Anything after that is your identity. How do you see yourself? And then the word always, I am always sick. That's you telling your subconscious, I'm always sick. And so it's not going to look for ways to be well.
Yeah.
I have been sick in the past. I did have this sickness that opens up a possible different future. But be very aware of the language you use. Look for absolutes and anything after that phrase, I am. And sometimes you'll be surprised what comes out of your mouth, right? If you just pay attention.
I've noticed that sometimes even myself, it's after a long day. I did 3 weeks of summit after summit. And I remember hearing myself going, I'm so tired. And then 5 minutes later, I was even more tired. And my husband called me and he went, you're not tired, Amanda. You're feeling full of energy. You're feeling full of energy. And I was like,
it's
yes,
feeling,
feeling full of energy. Got to get on with the kids. I'm feeling full of energy, and just did a shift. I'd gone into that. It's so easy to slip into, because the collective and everybody around us, it's, I know when I go back to England, it's, how are you doing? And the answer is not too bad.
Yeah.
So when people say, how is Amanda?
With the negative, right? It's like,
So when people say to you, how are you, Amanda? I go, I'm blessed and grateful. Thank you. I'm blessed and grateful. So I challenge you again, those people that are listening, when people ask you how you are from now on, say, I'm blessed and grateful. If you want more abundance, I'm abundant and grateful. They might give you a funny look, but your subconscious is going, yeah, baby, bring it on. Bring it on. It's real. Make it now. I'm abundant and grateful.
One of my guests actually had, as part of her tagline, fine is a 4-letter word. And so she didn't want, she took issue with anyone who said, how are you? Oh, I am fine. Well, no, come up with other adjectives to define you, because that is a definition of you. I am, right?
Yeah.
I am XYZ, but that is an identity issue.
Yeah.
And if you are just fine, that means you're not excellent, you're not feeling really anything, right? I'm fine. Fine. What meaning does that have for you, right?
Yeah, no, really important. And I remember when I first started this journey, I used a lot of affirmations. And when I was traveling the world in my 20s, the whole year and a half, almost 2 years I was traveling, every day I said, everything's always working out for me. Everything's always working out for me. And when I got to Australia, I said, I live rent-free for a year. I live rent-free for a year. I lived rent-free for a year.
Oh my gosh.
I manifested that. I did like chores in the house. I basically went from some Sydney friends to some Brisbane friends and just moved around and just got to stay with everybody's friends. So I was like the housekeeper. So I did little chores and things to kind of stay with them. But I literally lived rent free for a year, and I was safe as well. I said to myself, I'm safe. But one thing happened to me when I went to Bali. I was hanging out with this Swedish dude, I didn't understand it at the time, but his energy was super low. So he drained all my energy. And so as I was traveling around Bali with him, everything started to go wrong. First of all, we were held at knife point. It's a very long story. We were held at knife point. Basically, to cut a very long story short, he groomed us on the beach, took us to his brother's house, fed us a really nice lunch, met the wife and the children and everything, and then embroiled us into a card game. And then obviously the tables turned. It was a whole charade thing. And we had to pay them, basically. So we got held at knife point to exchange our travelers' checks for money. And after that, obviously, I was very upset. And we couldn't go to the police because we found out afterwards that it's illegal in Bali to play card games for money. So we couldn't go to the police. And because they blindfolded us and put us in a van, they threw us out the back of the van. So we didn't know where we were. We didn't know where we were taken. We weren't paying attention. Do you know what I mean? So it was a whole traumatic experience. And then the next day, somebody stole my bag out of the car. And then another day, something happened. So after the third thing, I just went, okay, I'm done. So I went to Garuda Airlines and I said, get me the first flight off here to Singapore. And as soon as I got to Singapore, I met two amazing Irish girls at the traffic lights going to McDonald's because I hadn't had a Western meal for weeks. And those two girls became my bridesmaids at my wedding.
Oh, how sweet.
Like literally 15 years later. But their energy was very high. And what's really interesting, obviously, I met them after that disaster. We all did our Reiki masters together. And she started channeling energy about 10 years before me. And I was thinking, that's a little bit weird. And then 10 years later, I'm doing the same thing. So
it's just thinks you're a little bit weird.
Yeah, it goes to show that energetically, I was supposed to meet them at the traffic lights. It was completely random. We stayed in contact and then we did everything kind of lined up. And so many things on my journey have really lined up when I've got out of my own way. Instead of really analyzing, thinking and pushing and hustling and shoving, the more I've just kind of gone, what needs to happen today? What needs to happen today? And allow. That's when I've got the most results in my business, when I've just gone, who do I need to serve? Allow them to come to me, and then the money comes. It's really trusting, but it wasn't easy to do that because I was a type A sales, hustling, making things happen. I still get things done. You can't just sit in a room and manifest. It doesn't work. I think we all know that. But I'm much more okay. I need to allow this to happen. And even with the summit, I met the lady that I did the summit with 3 months ago. Somehow we connected and this voice came into my head and said, do a summit with her, do a summit. And I was like, I don't know her. But anyway, we did the summit. We got a lot of speakers through. A lot of the speakers had never done an online summit before. So we helped launch them into that world and we felt really good about what we achieved and we raised money for charity. So all of that is energy moving forward and paying it forward. So I was delighted with the results and I did it purely by following the signs.
Nice. So how can people find you? You mentioned LinkedIn a few times.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. So we can put the link below. And my website is Amanda Steadman, AmandaSteadman.com. And for those of you, I know that's mostly kind of mixture of spiritual and business. I do have something called the Aligned Business Checklist, which I think might be useful for your audience. So I can also give you the link to that, Jean. They can go into that. It's a couple of pages where they just get clear on who they are, what they want to get, and what their next steps will be. It's just a nice little clarity exercise and it doesn't take too long.
Cool. So we'll have links to those down below for you in case you didn't catch all that. We are coming up near the end of our time together. No, I know. It's gone so fast. Do you happen to have any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our listeners? We covered so many things.
I think the thing for me is with all the people that I've worked with is that you don't need to suffer. You can choose to just be free of all of that. You can be free to step into this this powerful being that you really are. So my biggest advice is start meditating. If you aren't, start to tune in. If meditation is not your thing, go and listen to music in the woods or go out to the woods, to the beach, wherever you're in nature, and just really connect to who you are, because all the answers you are seeking are there, and you know it consciously, but you may be not doing it. So it's time to embody who you really are and what you came here to do. And I know in my heart that you have gifts that you need to share with this world. So uncover those, get out and share them, and just be happy, loved, and blessed.
Aw. And we'll leave it right there. Thank you so much for being with me today, Amanda.
My pleasure, Jean. That was so much fun. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Do it again. And to the listeners out there, I want to thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with us. I hope you got something valuable out of this. I trust that you did, because it's my intention that what comes up in these discussions is what was meant to come up for one of the listeners or more of the listeners. But see which nugget was meant for you. And for now, this is your host, Jean Border, with the Focused Practical Dreamers Journey podcast. Until next time.
We trust you enjoyed this episode of the Focused Practical Dreamers Journey podcast. Energy work to better your business. Hosted by energy healer Jean Border. Remember to visit our website at www.focusedpracticaldreamer.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Focused Practical Dreamers Journey.